Recording has started. Greetings. Welcome to the Hawkeye Rising YouTube channel. This is Clint, your Hawkeye. As Eric 777 would say, it's going to be a short video. Great videos, Eric. Great information. It's inspiring. That's why I'm doing stuff like this, trying to get it together, trying to keep it short and hopefully concise. Remember, small helpings. Thank you for checking out some of my stuff. Of course, this is still brand new to this. I'm going to try some screen sharing. This is not live. Why does it say that? Anyway, I've titled tonight's or this evening's broadcast, pre-recorded broadcast, Gesù in Kiev. Some interesting names, places, and dates. Last Ruchi team brief, it came up William Wallace's death, specifically in the Braveheart film, directed and starring by Mel Gibson, starring Mel Gibson as well. His death in the film, as his abdomen was, well, it's off camera or out of frame, being maybe it's a Macbeth reference, a Shakespearean Macbeth reference of being unseamed from the nape to the chops, and his intestines were removed. Eventually, his heart pulled out. Well, in the history books, he was hanged, drawn, and quartered. I don't know if there was a beheading, but actually, I believe his head was removed, and then parts of his body were placed at various locations. But did it achieve the goal? Back to William Wallace's death date. So October 23rd, 1305, almost two years prior to the suppression of the Templars by Philippe le Bel, where we get the Black Friday, and October 13th, 1307. But so Friday the 13th date, the woeful date. Yeah. Okay, I was thinking of William Wallace, or thinking of the broadcast, William Wallace, and then the date, August 23rd, which made me think of Kobe Bryant's birthday. And then Kobe Bryant, so born, his birthday being October 23rd. And why do I want to take you that? I want to take you to that because January 26, 2020. Him and his daughter, a number of passengers in a Sikorsky helicopter, S-76B or something, the model. I know it came up in a brief long some time ago, but it made me think of, again, there's the burning alive, the calling card of the Jesuit order and the Inquisition, part of the fourth vow. Made me think of the namesake of the vehicle they were in, like a coffin, like a tomb, named after Igor Sikorsky. Sikorsky, devout Orthodox, Russian Orthodox or Eastern Orthodox. And why do I want to tell you that? I'm telling you that because his birth. He was born in Kiev, May 25th, 1889. And then, of course, we have a connection date, unfortunately, with May 25th being the death date anniversary of George Floyd. George Floyd happens to have a birthday, October 14th, and October 14th being 2016 being the date that current Jesuit Superior General Arturo Sosa took office. Interesting connections. Does it mean anything? I believe it does, just as my previous video discusses Sun Tzu's Drumbeat. And if Sun Tzu is in fact the Jesuit Superior, takes the place of the Jesuit Superior General, and his drumbeat is in fact the general's voice, this is quite meaningful. So back to the title. So Gesù in Kiev. Let's start with, okay, this scene has been on my mind off and on for for the last couple of years, because I know there's something, or knowing that there is significance to it. So I don't know. So I will try this. Let's see. So I'll share my screen. Let's see if we got share. Bear with me. This scene from Pulp Fiction, so 1994's Pulp Fiction, directed by Quentin Tarantino. I have an article or a blog on including Tarantino and one film in particular, Death Proof. I'll post a link to my blog a couple years ago. I'll be put in the description. Anyway, this scene, very loaded for me, because in particular there's the allusion to, so there's time relates to dates, and then of course you have the, I would say, I don't want to get into this, I'm not going to play this scene because it is thoroughly disgusting. Watch it if you're grounded, if you are, well, at your own peril, at your own, it's your choice. I don't recommend it. But two things are, well, let's make 3 points out of it. So after this, the sword, Butch, played by Bruce Willis, unsheaths the sword. After, and behind him, you have the car, yellow car with 33. You can't see it at this moment because it's a still. I've got the video paused. He was bound. Okay, how do I want to get into this? In this frame, over, so on our left, over Butch's right shoulder, behind, you have a guitar, so the headstock, the neck, the body hanging, and next to the guitar is a clock with a rainbow, and set in this clock, in the clock face, I would say that time is 10:06. But what's interesting is the clef, the treble clef. And it recently, literally thinking about this scene which has 2 clocks. As Butch descends the stairs, you pass 2 clocks. One is what is it? One is 419. One is 420. Significant dates. Specifically, let's say 419 with the election of the first Jesuit Superior General Ignatius Loyola back in 1541. A date which is controversial, loaded. Many events have taken place on or around it. And a date obviously beloved by the Jesuits and their kind. April 20th is a significant date, particularly at this time when I came across it, being Jacques Cartier's departure from France or New Brittany back in 1534, and commissioned by Francis I to supposedly explore the New World, and Cartier, as we know him in the history books, as the father of Canada. So that this scene is significant to me. You also have Marcellus Wallace, played by Ving Rhames, wearing orange. He is a black man, and previous in the scene before this, we arrive at this part in it. We have Rhames and Willis, and their characters both have like S&M style. What would you call it? They are muzzled, but the orange shirt worn by Marcellus Wallace, is significant. And then, of course, what happens to him is, which is, again, brutal. I would not recommend watching this scene. It is. I describe this scene as an allegory of Canada. What would become Canada? What has happened to on our soil? And even so, an allegory of our flag as well. But that's another video. Anyway, so let's go back to the clock. The clef. If we can, and I hope this works. Let's see. Let's go back. I will try. No, I'm going to try this again. Share. Okay, stop screen share. Oh no, I'm going to try and share screen again. Bear with me. Thank you very much as I will go through this. Okay, so that G, clef history. Share. Look at the progression. Okay, we don't need to necessarily get into dates. If you're interested in this, you can easily look it up yourself. But I want you to at least acknowledge, here we go. The clef that is there is the G representation. G for Gesù, G for Jesuit, Superior General. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, thank you. Stop screen share. Okay, we've established, so Pulp Fiction released in has a US release date, October 14th, 1994. So back to that October 14th date. Back referencing, well, having to jump ahead years. Call it the Kuleshov effect, whether an editing process where one scene and affects the interpretation of the scene next to it, or the editing cut. But we have October 14th, again, the date of George Floyd's birthday. You also have the date of the Arturo Sosa, Jesuit Superior General, beginning his office as the Superior General in 2016. So, okay, so now that we've established the G, why don't we can exit that, and let's jump ahead to Tenet. Christopher Nolan's Tenet. So let's try screen share. Okay, bear with me. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. Let's go with this. Tenet. So Tenet were released September 3rd, 2020. Okay, September 3rd, 2020. Interestingly enough, you have, going back in time, Gregory the Great, Gregory the First. Papacy began September 3rd, 590 to March 12th, 604, when he died, meaning his papacy ended. But it's interesting. So September 3rd, a couple other events happened that date, but we will continue. So Tenet, released September 3rd, United States, 2020. Here we go. Let's examine this scene together. This is the supposedly, where is this location? Supposed to be the Opera House in Kiev. Kiev, the birthplace of Igor Sikorsky. Notice the G. G for Gesù. G for Gesù, which we established. Let's jump ahead to note. Let's take note of something. Where is it? We have the storming of the Opera House, and then you have. Oh, it doesn't say it. Yeah, here it is. Wake up the Americans. Wake up the Americans. The protagonist ejects a bullet or a round. He's awake as his men, waiting on scene for the cavalry, the Praetorians. Which badge to choose from? Put it on, blend in. Who is who? Okay. Let's stop screen share. So we have another G for Gesù in a very current film with a very current location. Kiev, Ukraine. Okay, let's exit that. What else do we have? Okay, we'll leave that for in a second. Our next film, 1996, Mission Impossible. Okay, bear with me. Here we go again. One more share. Getting there. Mission Impossible. I hope this is working all right. Let's examine this. So, if this should it be indeed be sharing. So Paramount, there you see the allusion to the Watchers descending onto Mount Hermon, Book of Enoch, Genesis 6. Peter makes a reference, 2 Peter, and here we go. Beginning of film, we get this push. What we're watching a scene within a scene. As we push in, examine if you can make note. At some point, this will become clear. Let's jump ahead. We have 3:12. 3:12. Another reference to Gregory the First, but also March 12, 1622, Pope Gregory the 15th canonized or made saints Ignatius of Loyola, Francis Xavier, and Teresa of Avila, or Teresa of Jesus. This was also brought up in the previous Saricha team brief. Teresa of Avila, her incorruptible hand and her gauntlet is the uncredited source of the Thanos of Loyola. Thanos, the Marvel MCU, Marvel Comic Universe gauntlet with the 6 Infinity Stones. So here we have the Gesù and Kiev in cinema here, 1996. Okay. I'm not paying attention to this. So this scene, this time code will run to approximately 3:19 and 30 or so seconds. Is it a reference to what's coming this March? Okay, let's stop share screen. Let's exit that. Mission Impossible. Let's see. We have January 26. Kobe Bryant shares a death date anniversary with infamous Edward Jenner, the father of modern vaccines, which Johnny's new book, The Disciples of Ra, deals with in depth, exposing him. Freemason, Jenner. Let's see. Cliff history. We can. Interesting. Kobe Bryant also shares a birthday with the late River Phoenix. River Phoenix is a subject of. Actually, I think it might even be a chapter, River's End, in Johnny's book, Eaters of Children. The first book, actually, I got to assist with proofreading and such, which was a definite honor, and I'm grateful for that. Let's see, Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner, this is interesting. You know who shares a birthday with Edward Jenner, May 17? The late Bob Saget. How did he die? He died getting his head crushed in January 9th this year. Okay, let's go to, let's see, which is going to bring me to the, okay, so we dealt with the The opening scene in the Ukrainian National Opera House in Kiev was filmed in an old Soviet amphitheater. Okay, we've dealt with this. Let's go to the Google Doodle. Why did I want to bring this up? I wanted to bring this up. Okay, orthodoxy. We deal with an interesting cross. Okay. I'm just thinking of how I want to deal with this. Okay, let's just jump right in. February 1st, Google Doodle published an interesting doodle that I noticed on, well, we're now in the year of the tiger. On the tiger, let's see if I can, sorry, I wasn't sharing the screen. Let's try this again. Thank you for bearing with me. I really appreciate it. May there be grace, may there be mercy. Hopefully, so what are we seeing? What are we seeing? What is this? Hey, check that out. There I am. Okay, let's, I don't know how to, I apologize. Stop share screen. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay, so February 1st, year of the tiger. We have that Google Doodle. Google sharing the birthday of the Jesuits, the Pope Paul III Declaration Militant Ecclesia, Regimini Militant Ecclesia on September 27, 1540. That September 27th birthday is shared with Google. Google was born, was it 90, 98, 96, 90? We can look it up later. It's common knowledge. So common, I can't even tell you. So Google Doodle. Let's share this. Let's try this again. Let's hope this is sharing. So we have the the cross of Anjou or the cross of Lorraine. In the 16th century is a heraldic two-barred cross consisting of a vertical line crossed by two short horizontal bars. In most renditions, the horizontal bars are graded, with the upper bar being the shorter, though variations with the bars of equal length are seen also. Lorraine's come to signify several cross variations, including the patriarchal cross with its bars near the top. The Orthodox cross, you have the two bars and the, I don't know if, no, it won't show, but you have the slanted bar. But what's interesting about this is back in the 18th century, during the age of exploration, the age of discovery, you have this user-edited Wikipedia acknowledging the New World. French Jesuit missionaries and settlers to the New World carried the cross of Lorraine. The symbol was said to have helped the missionaries to convert the native peoples they encountered because the two armed crosses resembled existing local imagery. Now that's fascinating. This is subject matter we will get into at another time. In previous video, I'd mentioned that my belief that the eight-pointed star that we understand in the Union Jack of Great Britain, the UK, that has an umbilical cord connected all the way back to St. Peter's Square in the Vatican in Rome, that the mark of, which is the mark, I believe is the eight-pointed star, the mark of Cain, the mark of Anu, which was bestowed onto England in 1534. Oh boy, now we're getting back into the acts of supremacy, where Henry VIII made a break from Rome, which we're not going to get into. Interesting enough, though, at St. Peter's Square, you have, so at the base, the eight-pointed star, you have the phallus of Osiris, or the obelisk, and topped with a cross. The cross, in part, I believe, is the mark of the beast. But that, again, subject matter I will get into why or how I either arrived at that or think that. But back to this, interesting that the French Jesuit missionaries and settlers to the New World carried the cross of Lorraine, or the cross of Anjou, or the potentially could be interpreted as the patriarchal cross. Okay, let's exit the screen share. Let's, I wanted to also, in addition, Rulers of Evil, Frederick Tupper Saussy, after, page 71, after World War II, during September 1957, Pope John the 23rd gave Jesuit Theatre even broader horizons with his encyclical Miranda Procis, looking ahead, saying, "Men must be brought into closer communion with one another. They must become socially minded. These technical arts, cinema, sound broadcasting, and television, can achieve this aim far more easily than the printed word. The Catholic Church is keenly desirous that these means be converted to the spreading and advancement of everything truly called good, embracing as she does the whole of human society within the orbit of her divinely appointed mission. She is directly concerned with the fostering of civilization among all peoples. To Catholic film producers and directors, Miranda Procis delivered a paternal injunction not to allow films to be made which are not at variance with the faith and Christian moral standards. Should this happen, which God forbid, then it is for the bishops to rebuke them and, if necessary, to impose upon them inappropriate sanctions." Carrot or the stick. John the 23rd urged that Pope Pius XI's National Film Reviewing Offices be entrusted to men who are experienced in cinema, sound, broadcasting, and television under the guidance of a priest specially chosen by the bishops. At the same time, we urge that the faithful, and particularly those who are militant in the cause of Catholic action, Jesuits and their proteges, be suitably instructed so that they may appreciate the need for giving to these offices their willing, united, and effective support. In 1964, Pope Paul VI amplified Miranda Procis with the decree Inter Mirifica among the Wonders, saying, "It is the Church's birthright. It is the Church's birthright to use and own the press, the cinema, radio, television, and others of like nature." Paul cited a special responsibility for the proper use of the means of social communication, which rests on journalists, writers, actors, designers, producers, exhibitors, distributors, operators, sellers, critics, all those, in a word, who are involved in the making and transmission of communications in any way whatever. They have the power to direct mankind along a good path or an evil path by the information they impart and the pressure they exert. It will be for them to regulate the economic, political, and artistic values in a way that will not conflict with the common good. Common good sounds like Laudato Si, 2015 encyclical by Pope Francis I. Common good. You'll hear that. Stay on target. The quality of so page 73, Rulers of Evil, the quality of entertainment's content was decreed in the section Inter Mirifica, encouraging the chronicling, the description or the representation of moral evil, which can help the means of social communication, and with suitable dramatization lead to a deeper knowledge and an analysis of man, and to a manifestation of the true and the good in all their splendor. Emboldened by this papal decree, social communicators since 1965 have pushed the constitutional guarantees of free speech to the limit by chronicling, describing, and representing moral evil with such progressively vivid, repulsive, prurient, yet often appealing detail that entertainment has become, in the opinion of many, a veritable technological how-to of moral evil. It clearly does not lead audiences to a deeper appreciation of Holy Scripture. This fact identifies entertainment today as a successful Jesuit theatrical mission. Let's see, let's jump down page 74, and we will conclude, America's understanding has been systematically bent to the will of the church militant, while the intellectual means for sensing the capture have been disconnected. Most of the content of modern media, whether television, radio, print, film, stage, or web, is state-of-the-art Jesuit ratio studiorum. The Jesuit ratio studiorum. The Jesuit College is no longer just a chartered institution. It has become our entire social environment. The movies, the mall, the school, the home, the mind. Human experience has become a spiritual exercise managed by charismatic spiritual directors who know how to manipulate a democracy's emotions. Logic, perspective, national memory, and self-discipline are purged to the point that unbridled emotional responses, as economist Thomas Sowell put it, are all we have left. And I'll read the final. Despite its ascendancy over American life, few Americans understand the term Jesuit. In our next chapter, we shall examine how this term is defined in our basic reference works. These definitions will help us to better understand the kind of character produced by Ignatian psychological technique. Remember, from chapter Sun Tzu, Lorenzo Ricci, Jesuit Superior General, 18th Jesuit Superior General. Point number 18, all of chapter 1, or all war is based on deception. All war is based on deception. I think, looking at the time, okay, we're about, it's funny, it tells me 41, but I think it's only been 30, just over 31 minutes. G for Gesù. Oh, you know what? Let's, in addition, you know what? I feel like a dumbass. I was expecting to open with this. And can I find it? Can I find it when I need it? Can I find it when I need it? Again, from Rulers of Evil, page 120. Hold Freemasonry up to the light, and you cannot help but see the black papacy's watermark. Isn't it reasonable, given the circumstances, that the G, capital G, in the center of the familiar Masonic emblem represents the initial of Gesù, the residence of the Black Popes at the Jesuits' world headquarters at number 5 Borgo Sancto Spiritu in Rome? Freemasons wouldn't suspect this, nor would Jesuits, nor does anyone, myself included, up until this is presented. And then you start looking past the curtain. Who's the Wizard of Oz? Freemasons wouldn't suspect this, nor would Jesuits. It would be information reserved let's try that again. It would be reserved uniquely to the unknown superior who shares what he knows with no one. Your enemies will serve you without their wishes, said Sun Tzu, or even their knowledge. Okay, I think we will leave it at that. I think I've tried my best to cover some interesting subject matter, connecting, well, from Kobe Bryant, his death in the Sikorsky helicopter, Sikorsky named after Igor Sikorsky. Igor Sikorsky, whose birthday is the death day anniversary, now the death day anniversary of George Floyd. George Floyd shares his birthday is the day of the election, or it would have been Jesuit Superior General Arturo Sosa ascendancy, or his papacy, would have begun October 14th, 2016. And then we have the March 12th date referenced from Tenet, the G in Tenet, and the Pulp Fiction's release date, Tenet's release date, of Gregory the First, and March 12th, referencing the canonization date 1622. So it's March 12th, 1622, by Gregory the 15th, the canonization date of Ignatius. So Jesuit co-founders Ignatius Loyola, the first Jesuit superior general, Francis Xavier, who is known for going to India and China, or he died essentially on the border of China. Matteo Ricci would be the point to the spear that would go into China. China is Rome's baby. And Teresa, back to March 12th, and the canonization date of also Teresa of Avila, the uncredited source of the Marvel comic universes, Thanos and the Infinity Stone, Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones. I hope this is clear, not concise, small portions. Okay, 35 or so minutes. Let's end this. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's see, what can I, and then hopefully points and such will be added in the description. Okay, thank you so much. Until next time, this is your Hawkeye. Bye for now.